Thanks so much for staying with us, and a special welcome to you on the internet at cvmtv.com. We also invite you to download the CVM TV app from the Google Play Store. Investigators are yet to establish a motive behind the killing of the female assistant to People's National Party councillor Carl Blake. Blake himself was shot and injured in the same bloody incident which took place at the Caribbean Palm Community Centre on Spanish Town Road in Kingston. Now, the People's National Party has denounced the attack. CVM's Brian Walker has more.
People's National Party Divisional Secretary in the St. Andrews Southwest constituency, Maxine Simpson, is dead, and the councillor for the Greenwich Town Division, Carl Blake, was shot and injured last night at about 8. It's reported that Blake and Simpson were outside the Caribbean Palm Community Centre when armed men entered and opened fire. PNP General Secretary Julian Robinson denounced the shooting.
It's a very sad day for the People's National Party. Maxine was the divisional secretary and a strong worker and supporter of the party. And we're hoping, Carl is conscious, he has spoken, and we're hoping he will pull through. And we certainly condemn in the strongest way this type of violence. And we will certainly provide as much support to Maxine's family and to Carl's family.
Head of the Jamaica Constabulary Force's Corporate Communication Unit, Superintendent Stephanie Lindsay, said the police do not have a lead yet.
I spoke earlier with the Assistant Commissioner with responsibility for Area 4, and he advised that the investigative team is currently led by the Area Crime Officer along with a number of other senior detectives, looking at what are some of the possibilities that could result in what transpired last night. So far, they don't have any clear lead as to what transpired. There are a number of theories going around which we are not able to substantiate with any information of fact.
Brian Walker for CVM News.
And joining us for reactions is the People's National Party Chairman for St. Andrew Eastern and Councillor for the Papine Division, Venetia Phillips. Good evening, Ms. Phillips.
Good evening, Darian. Thank you for having me.
Your party has described this incident, this violent rampage, as a reprehensible act of violence. What's your reaction?
Darian, it is a regrettable situation that we find ourselves in as a country, not as a constituency, as a party, because crime is crime, and we need to stop talking the subject matter to death. We cannot continue to say, oh, it will be zero tolerance against crime, and we don't follow up with the appropriate action. So right about now, I believe that we need to understand what is happening here. Pandora's box has been opened. Councillors are in close contact almost daily with, different personalities. People might be upset with you for one reason or another. So then, is it now open season for political representatives to be attacked? Of course, there are some Jamaicans who will say, but we have been at the butt end of criminal, violence for a long time. And so politicians don't understand what's happening to citizens.
Let me ask you, Councillor, you say councillors do have their political antecedents very, very close to the ground. But what are you hearing? I know you know the area very well, you know the people very well, but what are you hearing?
I cannot comment on this matter. As you would appreciate, it's a police matter. All of us are still puzzled as to what could have resulted in this very unfortunate situation. But Darian, I'm at pains to say that if those of us who are charged with the responsibility to inspire confidence in constituents, in the residents, of the different communities we serve, if we are also the subject of attack,
yes,
then how can we then reassure the people of Jamaica this one cuts across political barriers? This is one for all of us as political leaders to get to the table and get real solutions going. This is time for us to demonstrate political will. It cannot be about expediency. It has to be about the people of Jamaica.
Councillor Phillips, are the residents cooperating with the police?
I have not spoken to the police since today. I was at the hospital last night, and up to last night, we were not able to get anything significant to point us into a direction either way. And so we're just praying, and I'm urging citizens to tell the police what you know. I know that, the fear factor is real, but I believe that this is an opportunity, Darian, for us to really once and for all deal with crime. It is bringing Jamaica to its knees. Our image as a country is being tarnished. The people of Jamaica are in fear. And now, if political representatives don't understand, it has no political color. Whether you serve the PNP or the GLP as a member, we are all here to serve the people of Jamaica, and they are depending on us for their safety.
Councillor Phillips, let me ask you finally on the last point that you raised. What have you done as a councillor to denounce any links to criminals or persons with questionable characters?
Darian, my approach to dealing with criminals and criminality, by now, I believe is a matter, for public consumption. I mean, everyone knows that I am most intolerant of criminality. But not only that, I believe that the response to crime, generally, has to be a situational one. I'm not one of the persons who is going to chalk up criminality to social and socio-economic situations all the time, because that is absolutely not the case. And so there are times when we're just not going to be able to be Lord Jesus, and we can't save everyone. Those who we can save, we should do everything. We should spare nothing to save them, to make sure that society is serving them well. But those who believe that they can continue to bring society to its knees, we need to make them understand that we're not going to cower in the face of, that kind of adversity, and we're going to treat criminals as criminals.
Thank you very much, Venetia Phillips, the councillor for the Popeen Division. Thank you very much. Continuing questions are being raised about whether or not extortion may have played a role in the latest of 5 murders to affect a small business district in Hayes, Clarendon over the past several months. CVM's Joel Crosskill reports.
It appears as though business operators are being targeted and killed along this stretch of roadway in Hayes, Clarendon. The latest came on Sunday at a round-robin type event where the operator of a cooking gas delivery company was shot and killed on the steps of this plaza.
Well, it seemed to be an area which is of concern. We have, as you rightfully said, persons have lost their life at this location recently. You have a Barrington herdsman who operates a cook shop, was shot and killed there. I know you have Ronnie, who's a man who owns and operates retail in terms of selling cooking gas or deliver cooking gas to residents within the Hayes area. He was shot last night and killed.
The bloodletting does not stop there, according to councillor for the division, Cian Barneswell.
We have another man by the name of Charles from Newtown, just throwing stone from this area, was also shot and killed. He operates a little kitchen at night time from his house. You have another chef who operated his restaurant in Raymond's by the name of Yapis. He was also shot and killed just meters away from this location. And you have a contractor by the name of Matthew, was also shot and killed. So if you check, it's about 5 persons lost their life here in Hayes, less 5 business people lost their life here in Hayes under questionable circumstances.
Those who knew Ronnie, the operator of the cooking gas delivery service, expressed dismay at his brutal murder.
Ronnie Virgo, a godfather, Yeah, man. My daddy they grew me and take care of me. My son come like a brother to me. Lou's a good man, trust me.
He was a generous man, a lot of quality and determination and hardship. So I have to say I'm sorry for his pass off. But fatally, we have to say we are sorry.
Word on the ground is that there may have been attempts to extort the slain businessman.
No, I can't really point to this link to any form of extortion activity. That will have to be the police from the investigation. But as I said before, there are some concerns, and this do come up from time to time where people ask the very same questions. But I think the investigating officer, the head of the Clarendon Police Division, can maybe speak more in details about these killings based upon investigation or intelligence that they have been gathering.
Police patrols have been escalated in the area, while a stakeholders meeting is being arranged. Joel Crosskill, CVM News.
In this Newswatch update, Justice Lorna Shelley Williams dismissed an application by the prosecution to have the sex case involving former president of the Moravian Church, Dr. Paul Gardner, and his former deputy, Jermaine Gibson, tried in Kingston. Last week, the prosecution argued that jurors in Manchester were likely to show bias in favor of the pastors. Dr. Gardner's attorney, Peter Champagny, states that Other methods could be employed to avert bias. For example, having a judge-only trial or polling jurors before the trial to establish if they have any connections. It's alleged that Dr. Gardner had a sexual relationship with the complainant in 2002 when she was 12 years old. Gibson also allegedly had sex with her when she was 14. The ministers are out on bail. The matter is set for trial on January 23, 2018.
Attorney for businessman Peter Sangster, Cecile Griffiths-Ashton, has raised concerns in the corporate area parish court that the majority of the electronic devices seized by the police in the fraud case are not his. Peter Sangster is charged with forgery, uttering forged documents, and obtaining money by false pretense. Several electronic devices linked to Sangster were seized in the initial phase of the investigations. However, the defense attorney is raising objections.
In essence, those items that were seized are not the personal property of Mr. Peter Sangster. They are indeed the property of Sangster Group International, a U.S.-based company, and Earth Global. They are not his personal property, and as such, they should not have been seized to begin with.
She argued that Sangster's business activities have been severely affected by the seizures. Allegations are that between 2011 and 2013, Sangster solicited and obtained over $600,000 from the chairman of Janus Communications. It's reported that he promised to get a waiver for money that the company owed to the Universal Service Fund. Sangster is accused of forging the signature of former Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller on a document purported to be the waiver. He's out on bail in the sum of $1 million. The matter is set for mention on July 24.
Ivy Cook, wife of the late former Governor-General Sir Howard, is dead. Lady Cook died at the Andrews Memorial Hospital earlier this afternoon. She was 100 years old. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has expressed regret at the passing of Lady Cook. The Prime Minister hailed Lady Cook as an outstanding educator who held several leadership positions in the education field. Lady Cook is survived by 2 sons and a daughter. Justice Howard Cook, retired judge of the Court of Appeal, Richard Cook, hotelier, and Audrey Faith Cook, a consultant in international affairs. She was born on June 27, 1918.
The United Nations Special Envoy on HIV/AIDS in the Caribbean, Dr. Edward Green, says the findings in the 2016 UN AIDS Gap report state that HIV infections are on the rise in the region. He points out that out of 2 of 5 persons in the region know their HIV status, and less than 50% of persons living with HIV/AIDS in the region are receiving treatment, with Cuba having the highest coverage and Jamaica the lowest.
Great concern for our region is the finding in the 2016 UNAIDS GAP report that after 10 years of decline in the prevalence rate, the Caribbean has witnessed a 9% overall increase in new infections. This is shamefully second to Eastern Europe and Central Asia. While the major increases have occurred in Cuba and Jamaica, the alarm is mainly due to the fact that progress in stopping the new infections has stalled among adults.
He said there is a conspiracy of complacency because of the successes in reducing the number of HIV/AIDS-related infections and deaths. As a result, the increase in the number of persons receiving treatment.
And Lady Cook was actually born in 1916. Now, there's a cry for help for several individuals in one disabled community in St. Andrew. As our reporter Marjorie Gordon tells us, the government and its agencies, as well as corporate Jamaica, are being challenged to make a difference.
The need for persons with disabilities to have gainful employment and how this can become a reality is uppermost on the mind of Councillor for the Papine Division, Venetia Phillips. While continuing rehabilitation work on units at the Cheshire Village, the councillor made an appeal for government and corporate Jamaica to address the high unemployment ratio within the community.
We have persons here at Cheshire Village who can work in offices. They can do stuff. So I believe that we need to make it a matter of policy that we include them in terms of employment. You can make it compulsory that organizations take at least one disabled person who is able to function within the organization, and the government sector too, because they are a part of our community and we need to ensure that we look after their interests.
Institutions, including the 2 universities within the vicinity, are also being implored to help.
Some of them basically do handcrafts, and so I'm appealing to the University of the West Indies as well to allow us a space where they can ply, their wares so the students can buy, so they're able to support themselves and their families.
Plans to address the welfare of members of the community will be implemented.
We are looking towards putting a food program for them so that we can give them food packages, like, if not fortnightly, at the end of each month, so that they are, because most of them, as I've said before, are unemployed. And so it is important for us to have a system. It is not a system of handout, this is a system of need. So we want to make sure that we are able to assist them.
Marjorie Gordon, Cvm News.
A foreign company is one of the latest entities to have a listing on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. The company made its entrance to the local market on Friday. Marjorie Gordon reports.
The listing for the first time of a Bahamian company on the Jamaica Stock Exchange is being hailed as an historic and important event. The company, Cable Bahamas Limited, joined the local stock exchange Friday. The significance of the venture was explained.
When others within the region see that there can be listings and cross-listings and dual listings, it is when all our various exchanges will come together to lift the Caribbean higher.
The JSE head advises that having listed on the Bahamas Stock Exchange and or any other exchange in the region, it makes it easier for a company to list on the JSE. She adds that checks by the JSE shows Cable Bahamas in good standing.
The listing of the 2 classes of preference shares by way of introduction, 44,090 preference shares will be listed for the Series 11 8% fixed rate preference shares on the US dollar equities market, and 1,349 of the Series 11 8% index fixed rate preference share will be listed on the main market.
The listing of the Bahamian company increases the total listed companies to 35 on the main market and the total number of listed securities to 44. For its part, the company says it wants the confidence of investors.
We wish to thank them and assure them that our commitment to continue to grow and expand the business is indeed a confidence to us. So we look forward to continuing this partnership and to build the relationship as we go forward.
Marjorie Gordon, Cvm News.
The Jamaica Public Service is stepping up its drive to get more persons who are accessing electricity illegally become legitimate users. Mindful of cost issues, the company is absorbing some expense to assist in the process, but more importantly, it's merging with other companies to foster entrepreneurship and independence. There was much emphasis on children at this fair in Canaan Heights because organizers, the Jamaica Public Service, wanted to press home the importance of ensuring the environment for kids' playtime is not only safe away from home. Armed with its mandate to provide an energy solution for all Jamaicans, JPS's Program Manager for Community Renewal and Customer Solutions explained why this Clarendon community factors so high in its program to merge technical solution with social intervention.
When we speak about technical solution, it's a normal metering system that we'll talk about. But in Canaanites today and going forward, this is a launch of our program in Canaanites to onboard at least 300 customers. And pretty much so, this is as a result of the fact that customers here are using electricity illegally. And we want to make sure they have electricity that is safe and reliable.
To enable the process, house wiring is necessary and costly. So the Latin Power Company has partnered with agencies with the expertise to foster social intervention and make this leg free of cost.
House wine is a very expensive commodity, and so JPS, in partnership with the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, saw it fitting that to get our customers on board and to encourage them to use electricity safely, that would offer them house wine assistance.
Added to the need to ensure energy management, the JPS wants to balance the scale so that before long there will be more happy customers affording its prepaid option.
JPS is now getting into the families and their homes to actually see the needs of the community. And some of the skills training that we'll be offering is like BPOs, data management, skills training, electrical installation, persons with food handling, hairdressing and data management. So we want to show them that we may not be able to provide jobs for everyone, but what will happen, we give them an avenue to earn.
With a 2-month window to the August startup, persons are being encouraged to capitalize on the offer to sign up soon.
It has been very good so far. You see that persons are very receptive and they show the interest that they want to become legal paying customers. They don't want to be running up and down anymore to hear that the strike force or the police is coming.
News overseas now. Police have named 2 of the 3 men behind Saturday's terror attack in London, the latest from the BBC. And now a reminder of our top news story. PNP councillor shot and injured while female assistant killed in the attack.
And just ahead of the break, responses to our Say What question. Are you better off today than you were 5 years ago?
For me personally, I can say yes, I'm better off than 5 years ago. Through my association with the right persons, I've seen steady growth and development in my life. And that made me a better person. And many of the mistakes I had made in the past, now I sit back and I analyze them and I'm correcting those mistakes.
I was without a job and it's still the same now. Not everybody have the dough to go to college. I have the subjects, but I am not taking student loan, not taking that risk at all.
I am more better off than I was 5 years ago. As it relates to the area in which I usually reside, where I reside now is more safer. And also as it relates to financial stability, I am more financially able than I was 5 years ago. Even though it's my parents, yes, I think that I am more financially able. So yes, I'm better off more than I was 5 years ago.
Financially, materially, my life has fluctuated within the last 5 years. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. But then there are other important factors, your children, how they have progressed and how it makes you feel about yourself and about your situation. So there's no hard and fast rule, there's no real single measurement as to, in terms of deciding how you have progressed or how you are presently as against 5 years ago.
Stay with us. The Owen James Report is next.